Odell Beckham and Leonard Fournette both rumored to be on the block. What's the smoke screen or realness of all that in your mind?
Well, it's definitely real with Leonard Fournette. And the Jaguars have come to the conclusion that from a culture standpoint, they're trying to move on with guys who are going to fit better with what they're trying to do. And I also think at a certain level, Rich, you're going to see under Jay Gruden, the new offensive coordinator there, an offense that maybe doesn't incorporate the downhill running style of Leonard Fournette. It's going to be more of a wide-open passing game with Gardner Minshew. But now they need to find somebody who will take him for 1 year, $4.1 million, with the ability to pick up an option for 2021, which would be $8.48 million, for a guy that had 1,674 yards from scrimmage last year. And there's so many people out there, when they hear Leonard Fournette, they initially make a face. It's like, he had 1,674 yards from scrimmage last year for a team that had a work-in-progress passing game from Nick Foles to a rookie sixth-rounder, and then back to Foles, and then back to the rookie, and through it all, Fournette had his best season in football really since his freshman year at LSU, where we all were like, hey, Leonard Fournette may be the first overall pick in the draft at some point. So the guy's got skills. The guy's got talent. Now, Ian Rappaport reported earlier today that the Jaguars are having a hard time finding any interest in the guy, and who knows? Maybe at some point the Jaguars are going to have to pay a little bit of his salary to get him off the roster, or maybe they're just going to have to take a sixth or a seventh round pick. But they want to avoid that $4.1 million, and they want to move on. It's just going to be hard for them to get value, apparently. But I don't know. The Steelers are the kind of team where if it came out the Steelers traded for Leonard Fournette, we would say, like I said when they got Minkah Fitzpatrick last year during the season, damn, I wish I would have thought of that ahead of time, because it makes sense. I mean, doesn't it make sense to see Leonard Fournette in black and gold doing the Jerome Bettis thing and just pounding between the tackles and giving Ben Roethlisberger the help that he doesn't have now that Le'Veon Bell's gone?
No doubt about it. No question. And James Conner there, too, and the role that he was in with Bell, right? Just put Fournette in the Bell cow role, right, and let Conner get in there in a way that he has not been able to stay healthy. That makes such sense to the point where why in the hell would it happen, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. And I suggested yesterday the Chiefs should be at the front of the line, and
right.
And a lot of Chiefs fans went crazy. It's like their leading rusher last year was Damian Williams with 498 yards. He got 90 of those yards on one play against the Vikings. You take that play away, he had 408 yards for a team that has such a great passing offense that the running lane should be wide open for a running back. They spent $3 million on LaShawn McCoy. He didn't have 500 rushing yards last year. So if you're going to spend $3 million on LaShawn, $4.1 million on Fournette, and you put him with the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu, they grew up in the same neighborhood in New Orleans. If Leonard Fournette's a pain in the butt in Jacksonville, he's going to be the opposite of it if he's got Tyrann Mathieu's influence all the time. And just think about that Chiefs offense. If you put a high-end tailback in there, a guy who's capable of doing what Fournette did last year, you may just want to hand him the trophy and not even bother with the season.
Right. I guess we do need to see. It makes total sense. I mean, we do need to see what happens in the draft. All the mocks that I see have DeAndre Swift potentially falling to the Chiefs at 32, and then there's of course all the trades that might happen with people. 32 is usually that spot where somebody trades back in for a fifth year of control of somebody like, say, Lamar Jackson or Teddy Bridgewater, like we've seen in previous drafts. Mike Florio here on the Rich Eisen show. What about Odell? We didn't hit that. Is that you said Fournette was real? Does that mean Odell is not? In terms
we don't know, because again,
right.
like we talked about earlier, they're never going to come out and tell us the truth if it is the truth, because the last thing the Browns need is to have Odell Beckham Jr. thinking that they were or are considering moving him. And when the report came out last week from Mark Malusis at WFAN, that struck me as, when it's one of those weird curveball reports, Rich, where you're like, well, where the hell did this come from? This person doesn't break news. To me, I find that as being more credible, because that guy's got one swing of yak, right? If I screw something up, if Mort screws something up, if Shefty screws something up, if anybody who does it for a living screws something up, you're right back on the horse the next day. And you're going to be reporting something accurate that inevitably will make people forget about the one you screwed up. But if you're just going to swing the bat one time, you better hit the ball. So I think, and based on some of the stuff I did to try to put meat on the bone, I tend to think that maybe there was something there that didn't go anywhere. And now the Browns are trying their damnedest to just get the toothpaste back in the tube, because the last thing they want is Odell Beckham Jr. to feel like his team doesn't love him the way that it should, and that his team was considering trading him, and maybe Odell's going to be the one who starts saying, hey, I'd like to be traded to this team or that team. I mean, he's definitely wanted to play for the Patriots in the past. Now, Tom Brady's not there, so he may not feel that way. But I think that if there was anything with the talk, it's not a surprise at all that they will shout from the rooftops now that it's over and that it's apparently done, that there was never anything to it, because they have to deal with Odell going forward.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.